All right. Oh, Karenisa, what happened? All right. Okay, no worry. I'm gonna share with you again the QR code for T1 and also T2. All right, afterwards at 11 a.m. Okay. All right. So this week we'll be doing something, or not doing something. I'll be giving you a brief lecture of chapter 6, which is called mindful listening. All right. So previously, when we were being told, all right, when we were already going through all the subjects, I mean, all the chapters, right, up until now, all right, we know that interpersonal communication is something which is very, um, which is quite intimate, all right, indicates how close you are with a person, indicates how well you are in communicating with a person, and indicates how well you are in catering the needs of the other person, all right. So in chapter 6, after we have done things like verbal, non-verbal, we are now going through the other parts of the body, should I say that, all right, which is uh, our listening or our hearing, all right. So the topic will go is about mindful listening, okay. All right. Looking at this Chinese character, all right, looking at this Chinese character, all right, the Chinese character over here is called Ting, all right. Yishuan, if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, please try to correct me, okay? All right, so I did ask my wife, so she said that this is called Ting, or Ting, I think it's Ting,
Ting,
right? Ting. Am I correct, Yishuan?
ting, ting.
Ting, Ting, all right, the tone, all right, the tone, Ting, all right. All right, so think. So hearing is a physiological activity that involves sound wave hitting our eardrum. So if we are talking about the what you call that the physicality of hearing, or the the process or the actual process of how things are happening in our ears, it is more about the sound wave, all right, hitting our eardrum. So the sound wave will carry noise, not just noise, we carry also information, feelings, expression, all right, anger, sadness, and everything. All right, so these are transferred into sound wave, and they will hit our eardrums to create a reaction. All right, chemical reaction in our ears. Okay. Oh, Sugasini is still asking to join. Okay, Sugasini, have I approved you? Wait, yeah. Alright, okay. Let me reply to Sukasini. Okay. Alright, so when we talk about the activity of listening, alright, or the act of listening, it is an active, complex process that consists of being mindful, physically receiving messages, selecting and organizing messages, interpreting messages, responding, and also remembering. So when you listen, actually, there are a few other activities or a few other tasks that you need to do, which are number one, of course, you have to be very mindful. All right. Other than being active, you also have to be very mindful, whereby you have to put your mind very open, very in concentrative kind of mode. All right, and then you will physically receive a message. That's when the wave will hit your eardrums. All right, and in your mind, you will also select and organize the messages. All right, meaning that you are not gonna like remember every single thing that I'm telling you right now, right? So you will be selecting some of the only important points, or only important measures, or only important notes that you need to that you know that maybe kind of come out in your final exam, or going to come out in your assignment. All right, and then you will interpret the messages. All right, after you select, you will interpret them, whether they are important or not, whether they need to be remembered or not, whether they need to be delivered after this or not. All right, and you will try to respond, meaning that maybe you're going to ask questions, or maybe you got things to ponder as well, got your own opinion, and you will also remember the whole process. Right, I'm not going to say for the rest of your life, but most of the time you will keep on remembering the thing that you are being mindful of. All right, so from the Chinese character thing over here, thing, all right, that thing. All right, so listening from this is actually a traditional Chinese character. All right, traditional Chinese character. So the concept is taken from a traditional Chinese character of thing, whereby in the character itself, all right, we because Chinese character are not made of alphabetical orders. All right, they are made of symbols. The characters are made of symbols. It symbolizes something. All right. In this Chinese character, all right, a few symbol, all right, a few particular symbol. Number one, ears. You got the eyes and also the heart. All right. They all represent one particular symbol or one particular character of the action of listening. All right. So ironically, we know that by listening, all right, you are not just using your ears. All right. You will also use your eyes, meaning that you are being fully concentrating. All right. You are being fully attentive. All right. Because, for example, if you are talking to someone, if you are not attentive, all right, you do not make eye contact, it will indicate that you are not interested in that particular conversation. All right. And also, you will listen with your heart as well, meaning that you are being mindfully open. Okay. All right. You are being mindfully open. You are trying to, being attentive. All right. As a person, you are trying to be attentive as possible, all right, to the person that you are talking to or to the process of communication that you are currently catering to. Okay. All right. So these are some of the listening process. All right. Listening process are consists of, right, number one, mindfulness. All right. Mindfulness here means that you are paying complete attention. All right. Being fully present in the moment. All right. By being mindful. All right. Somebody is asking to join. Is it? Not in yet. Sudah sini. Sorry. Sorry ya. Sudah sini is not in yet. Sudah sini. Okay. Nope, nothing. All right, maybe. Okay. Oh, a lot of you are attending. Okay. Right, I think already in. All right. Sorry, maybe because of the connection or something. Okay. All right. Being mindful meaning that you are there at the moment. All right. Sometimes you are there. All right. Sometimes you are in front of me. Sometimes you are in front of your friends, your partners, your family members, but you are not actually paying attention. Whatever comes in your right ear will go out to your left ear. So please be mindful, all right, when you are communicating and when you are listening, all right, to the person they are talking to you. All right. And then the next one, physically receiving messages. Of course, right, this is related to the sound wave that you are receiving. All right. But sometimes, all right, they're gonna be obstacles as well. All right, obstacles. For example, if for those who are unlucky, they're gonna have hearing impairment. All right, they can have hearing impairment, then they cannot listen. They cannot. Okay, sebelah sini. Alright, most welcome sebelah sini. Alright, they have hearing impairment, so they're gonna have to use hearing aids. Without the hearing aids, they cannot listen properly. Alright. In some situation, we are too tired, fatigue. Alright, we are too tired to listen sometimes. Alright, we come back home from work or from class or from study, from our classes, and then suddenly our girlfriend or boyfriend wanted to talk to us for 1 or 2 hours on the phone, something like that. Alright. So you tend to be a little bit less mindful, all right? And the physical activity, the physical process of receiving the sound wave will be interrupted because of the fatigueness that you are experiencing, all right? And of course, the background noise, all right? Where while you are talking, while you are listening to your partners or to the person that you are talking to, all right? Background noise such as loud music or car or traffic, construction or things like that are currently happening. So you might want to get back, all right, to the person that you are talking to, asking them, excuse me, sorry, I didn't get you. The music is too loud. Or you might just want, if it is your house or maybe it is your environment at that time that you can control, you might just want to lower down the volume or just turn off other form of noises, external noises that might affect, all right, the process of you receiving the message or receiving the sound wave. All right. And sometimes people also have the perception of gender, what you call that, gender effectiveness in terms of listening. All right. They tend to say that they tend to say that male or men focus more on specific content. Okay, and then a woman are more attentive and listen to the whole communication process. Right? So if you are talking to your let's say, I'm gonna say, romantic partner, girlfriend or boyfriend, all right, so the boyfriend will tend to be more attentive to certain points which he consider much important than the rest. All right, whereas if you are talking, if you are expressing feeling, if you are telling things to a girlfriend, not like specifically girl intimate girlfriend, maybe a girlfriend, right? You know, a friend which is a girl, they will be very more attentive. They will listen to you carefully. All right, they will respond to you. They will try to calm you down and things like that. Right. So they are perception of how man and a woman are being attentive in terms of listening. Okay. The next one is selecting and organizing material. And of course, when you listen, you will not be listening. You will be listening, of course, to the whole process, but you will not consider everything or every single point as important. Some of it might be omitted. For example, if I'm giving you a lecture, I'm telling you jokes, so I'm telling you that Sugasini is waiting to enter. I'm telling you that some of your friends are still coming in, joining from the previous class, need to scan. You might think that, all right, this is not important for the assignment or for marks or for points that will come out in the exam. So this one will be, it's not that you are not going to listen to them. You will listen to them, but you will not tend to be attentive, and that one will be removed from your memory. Maybe after this class, maybe after 1 or 2 days, all right? But then when we are talking about important points like the thing character just now, all right, like how you need to be mindful, like how sound wave hitting your eardrums or something like that. Right? These are some of the important things in listening. So you will tend to select this and organize the material, all right, in your memory as something which is related to the subject, related to the score, related to the exam, and related to the assignment that you are going to be doing. Okay. All right, and the listening process continue with interpreting communication. All right, when you interpret communication, sorry, all right, you need to be more of a person-centered kind of person-centered kind of listeners, not person-centered kind of person, person-centered kind of listeners, whereby you understand another person's perspective, all right, on their terms, meaning that you accommodate them. Right? If you think that they are speaking in a very difficult dialect to be understand, all right, try to accommodate them not by following their dialects, but by asking them more or by putting more follow-up questions, or by asking them, can you please repeat your question, or sorry, I didn't get what you are saying just now. What do you mean by, for example, what do you mean by samasia, for example? Right, try to be attentive to that particular person, but try to control your attentiveness so that the person will not feel as if he is being violated, or maybe as if you are making fun of him. All right. So try to make yourself more open and try to make yourself more of sitting in the person's shoe, right, when you are being attentive. And another thing is always practice dual perspective. Like what we have learned in the previous chapter, dual perspective is more of you and also the person communicating both ways. All right. So do not concentrate more on yourself, or do not put a lot of pressure or a lot of concentration on that other person. Make sure there are two ways communication happening there. All right. So that both of you will have ample chances of communicating. All right. And take both perspectives. All right. Even if you're arguing, for example, even if you're arguing, although you have things which are not in the same perspective or not in common, all right, so try still, all right, to accommodate the person and try to understand what he or she wanted to deliver, and try to make he or she also understand whatever it is that you want to deliver. All right. And then responding, all right, so responding, when you respond, it can be in verbal, it can be also in non-verbal. All right. For example, in terms of verbal communication, when you respond verbally, all right, you will tend to say, oh, like that, right? Small expression. You will tend to ask question, a big follow-up question to show that you are interested in the topic, or you will show a slight or just a small support. Yes, I do agree with you. But even if you are arguing, you can still respond verbally. It doesn't mean that when you are arguing, you will just stay put and don't say anything because you are intimidated. No. But still, if you're arguing, you can also respond and be a very good listener and also very good speaker in the process. All right. So when you respond, usually you will simultaneously listen and also speak. But sometimes, all right, you can also show interest with non-verbal cues, all right. For example, you are nodding your head, all right, you make eye contact, all right, and then you also show vocal response. For example, yeah, something like that, all right, so that the person know that you are being attentive, all right, you are in the topic, and that you are not wandering around, all right, not like walking around. Your mind is not wandering around, right? And the next one, you will remember or remembering, all right? In this particular process, all right, you will retain what you have heard. But again, all right, you will be selecting and organizing the information. Not everything will be remembered word by word, all right? You are not going to verbatimly remember every single thing that I'm saying, all right? You will select and organize and remember only the important chunks, all right, of the information that you have received. Okay. All right. Some obstacles to mindful listening. All right. Of course, we're gonna have the external obstacles. For example, we have the message overload. All right. We cannot take in all communication with the same level of mindfulness. All right. Meaning that, all right, even if you are being mindful right now, all right, you cannot take too much information coming to you. All right. So for example, if you are attending a lecture, for example, interpersonal communication, all right. So every single week, all right, we're gonna only listen to one particular chapter. All right. So that will be good enough or ample enough for you to take the information, for you to select, to organize, to remember, and to respond. All right. But if let's say in one particular week, I'm going to give you all four types of four chapters in one shot, or six chapters in one shot. I'm going to cram all 40 chapters in only one day. All right. So message overload will happen. All right. And you cannot take all of that particular process of communication with the same level of mindfulness, because fatigue will come in. All right. Other obstacles like noises will come in. All right. And also uh, psychological, all right, psychological fatigue or psychological noise, like what we have learned before, will also come in. All right, you will have anxiety, you will be furious, all right, you will be intimidated, all right, you will tend to feel the boredom will come in, all right, you will tend to think that this is too much, all right. So this kind of effect will happen if we experience message overload. All right. Next, message complexity. All right. You are having messages which are too detailed. For example, you have to remember every single detail in that particular message. For example, instruction to do computer coding. All right, you cannot miss one. If you miss one, all right, the application will not run. For example, or maybe you have too many technical terms or jargons or too many connections. All right, people are delivering you, saying things to you only in one shot, without giving you chance to interrupt, for example, without giving you chance to grasp whether you understand the information or not. Okay, so message complexity could happen, especially if we are talking about technical terms, especially when you are talking to professions or professionals such as doctors or engineers, or computer engineers, IT experts. Sometimes they got some jargons which are not quite familiar to us. All right. Like before this, when we do not have COVID-19, we are not that familiar with booster, for example. Or we are not familiar with novel corona. I mean, novel kind of virus kind of name or something like that. All right. So this terminology came up during the COVID-19 pandemic, and all right. And right now, right, if you are talking about this kind of terms, it will be understandable. But before that, maybe such thing is not very comprehensible, all right, to our knowledge. Somebody's asked to join. Oh no. All right. Okay. All right. And then last but not least, of course, will be. I mean, sorry. Of course, it will be in terms of noise, right? Verbal or non-verbal stimuli in the environment. Because sometimes when we are talking to each other, all right, because sometimes you're not just talking to one person, one-to-one kind of conversation. Sometimes it can be up until two or three kind of conversation. Right? But if you are having like a lot of people conversing at the same time, all right, so you will be right, your attention will be shifted or will be redirected to the other persons or to the other topic or to other form of stimuli that might intrigue you to participate or to concentrate on that particular stimuli. Right. For example, when I'm talking, let's say when I'm talking to my friend, all right, then a pretty girl came by, all right, cycling just beside me, and that I am intrigued to watch, all right, to see this pretty girl cycling behind me. So that is also one form of stimuli that will cause you to be distracted, all right, distracted from that listening process. Okay. All right, you will also have internal obstacles. All right, internal obstacles will also occur when you listen, not just the external ones. Right. So we have a few internal obstacles over here. Number one is sorry. Number one is preoccupation. All right, meaning that when we are so caught up with what is happening with us that we forget to pay careful attention to what is happening in our interaction with another person or people. For example, let's say you had a fight back then. Maybe let's take example of a husband and wife. All right, so they got involved in a fight at home. All right, so when the husband went to work, all right, so he was too preoccupied with what has already happened back then at home. All right, that he couldn't listen to the meeting. He couldn't listen. It's not that he couldn't listen. He refused to listen. He is listening, but he is not being mindful, not being attentive. All right, physically and psychologically occupied with what has happened back then at home. So this is preoccupation. So you cannot pay attention to the listening process that you are having right now because your mind is wondering for the things that has happened to you previously. Okay. And also we got prejudgment. All right, when we think we know what others are going to say before they say it, or we tune them out because we believe they have nothing to offer. For example, you have a prejudgment of when you are listening to my lecture, all right, you will think that I'll be talking the same thing over and over again. All right, so you have already tuned yourself to just listen but not to be attentive. Or maybe you don't listen at all. You just sit there, all right, be there in front of the camera, in front of the camera and just be there for the sake of being there. All right. Or maybe you have the prejudgment that if you listen to this particular person, all right, if you listen to a friend that you might not like, all right, you might be listening to things that you don't like as well. Maybe for example, all right, you got a friend who always like to condemn you, say you have gained weight, for example, your skin are getting darker, you got pimples, the color of your tudung is not does not match your handbag, the color of your shirt is very bright, doesn't suit your skin tone, for example. So you will tune out that particular person. So when you listen to him or her, all right, you will know that, all right, everything will only be about condemning. So I will just be there for the sake of being there, not listening that much. Okay. All right. Another thing is you will be reacting to emotionally loaded language. All right. So you will have tendency to react to words that evoke strong responses, positive or negative. Sorry. All right. So you will have to the tendency to react to words that evoke strong responses, positive or negative. All right. This is almost the same with the situation where you have a friend that always like to condemn you. All right. So you already have that prejudgment that this person will say bad things to you. All right. And then you will also be prepared to react emotionally to that particular loaded language. Loaded language can be in terms of condemning, saying that you are getting fat, you are getting, your skin is getting darker, your handbag is not beautiful, you are wearing fake sneakers, something like that. All right. So this loaded language, all right, or maybe swearing words, cursing words, or maybe you know this person doesn't always say things in a very good manner. Everything will always come with curses or something like that. So you will react emotionally to that particular loaded language. All right. So you will tend to take everything that is being said to you as being negative. All right. But then, for example, if we have loaded languages being used by politicians, all right, especially in political campaigns, all right, they're going to use terms or language which are very loaded. For example, the future of our youngsters, or the future of our children, for example, or maybe they're going to say something about global warming is coming, so please vote me so that I can help you to change the environment. Or for example, the flood is happening almost every year in Kelantan. If you vote me, I will ensure you that we will widen our rivers and do more, get more, widen our streams and everything, and avoid the what you call it, the sewers from being blocked with trashes. All right. So these are samples of loaded language where you will take them as a very strong kind of response from the person that you are speaking to, or maybe from the messages that you are listening to. All right, and it will intrigue you. All right, in terms of having interest and also having the requirement or the needs to vote for that particular person. All right, so maybe they promise you employment. They're gonna say things like environment safety. They're gonna say things like development. All right, so these are some example of loaded language used by politicians um, to attract people, all right, to vote them or to just to prefer them as their candidates, all right. Sometimes, all right, there are some unethical politicians that use loaded language in terms of religions and also racial and ethnicity. So these are also some we call example of unethical kind of loaded language, all right, being used for the sake of just getting attention and also getting support, all right. And another one is lack of effort. And of course, lack of effort, when you take a look at the word itself, right, you are not showing much effort in listening. You are wandering, your mind is wandering around. Sometimes it's not that you are such a person who are showing lack of effort. Sometimes it can be because of fatigue, or maybe because you are preoccupied, you are prejudged, right? Or you are waiting to react emotionally to loaded language, right? That's when you are showing lack of effort when you are listening, right? And also failure to adapt listening styles, all right? Because different people have different styles. Sometimes, all right, people, for example, they are not, they don't have much vocabs in English, for example. So you will just try to deliver, like, I'm not going to say highly regarded terms, but for example, rather than using river, you use stream, for example. Rather than you use taxi, you use cab. Rather than you use food, you use meal, for example. So some person might not be familiar with this kind of terms, all right? So you must try to be attentive to their different listening style. If they prefer to listen to more simpler terms, all right, use simpler terms, all right? How do you know that they are comfortable or not with the terms that you are using, all right? Number one, they might be asking you to rephrase or asking you the definition of the word, or asking you, come again, sorry, I don't understand what you are saying. All right, but if they are a very introvert person, all right, they will just let the information flow like that, be like that, and nothing will be remembered or will go through. All right, will go through their memory box. Okay. All right. So there are also a few forms of non-listening behavior. All right. Number one, we have pseudo listening, meaning that you are pretending to listen. All right. Pseudo is a word to indicate that you are not doing it. You are not actually doing that particular action, or you are just pretending to do it. All right. Maybe we can say pseudo sleeping or something. You are pretending to sleep. All right. So we're just pretending to listen. All right. In fact, while you are listening, your minds are wandering around and you are not being mindful to the process. Right. And the number two is monopolizing. Right. Meaning that you are constantly trying to redirect the communication back to yourself. All right, and your concern without giving others the opportunity to complete their thoughts. All right. When people are talking, maybe for example, when you are talking your girlfriend to your girlfriend or boyfriend, right? They are talking to you that, all right, they don't really like spicy food because they think spicy food is very dangerous for, it can cause ulcer, right? Because they have experience with ulcer, for example. And then suddenly you just say, but then spicy food is very delicious, Korean kind of dish. But rather than concentrating on the issue at that time, all right, you are redirecting, all right, the process to be more towards you, all right, because you want your partner to listen to you or to agree to you more, all right. And then we have selective listening, whereby you will focus only on certain aspect of a conversation, either those with which we do not agree or those that do not interest us at the moment. All right. So when you be selective, of course, like what I've mentioned just now, all right, you will be selecting things that you are interested to store, all right, and also interested, or maybe you are agree something that you agree with. Things that you disagree, maybe you might not store that in your memory box and it will just flow away like that. All right. And then you have defensive listening, right, whereby you assume the message has negative connotation, even though it is not the intention of the speaker. All right. In defensive listening, all right, almost the same situation as when you are facing the friend that always condemn you. All right, you have prepared yourself to be very defensive. Ni nak kata aku lah ni, something like that. He's about to say something bad to me right now. So you have put yourself into a defensive mode. But actually the person is only want to ask, maybe today he's not trying to condemn you, but he is trying to praise you. Wah, cantik lah kasut you hari ni. Wow, you got a very, your hair is very smooth and silky, for example. But then you have already prepared yourself to be very defensive. All right, because you know that this particular person will always attack you or condemn you. Okay? And then ambushing. You listen for opportunities to attack the other person. So this usually happen in debate session, or if you can see, if you watch the parliament session live on TV, all right, ambushing always happen. All right. And when you are being ambushed, usually you're going to practice defensive listening. All right. So when you ambush someone, you will listen for opportunities to attack the other person. All right. For example, I did watch I didn't watch the whole session, but I did watch a clip where Sheikh Sadiq was telling that the government is spending a lot of money on changing our national car, Proton cars, to Toyota Velfire. Right, when Tengku Zafrul was actually presenting the proposal to the parliament. All right, and when he was saying that, and then a representative from Baling, Dato' Azir Rahim, suddenly go up, berhentilah YB tak payahlah, saying that if you are too much of talking that we are wasting our money, do not be an MP, do not be a part of the parliament, all right, because you don't want to use the car, of course, all right. So you are always waiting for the chance to attack the other person, okay. And then last one, literal listening, right, meaning that you ignore the relational level of meaning. All right, literal listening, all right, usually happen when a person, when they tell you about something, you are only concentrating on the message, not the relationship or the relational level of that particular situation. All right, take this one for example. All right, when I found out I had to have wrist surgery, all right, wrist surgery, I told my boss and said I'd be needing some time off. I need some time off. I need MC or holiday. He listened and then explained the policy on sick leave. He didn't say he was worried. Asked if I was worried. Tell me he hoped the surgery was successful. Nothing. Right? So usually when you say to your, for example, to your boss or your employer, for your supervisor, boss, saya kena surgery ni nanti, sakit tangan and everything. Alright, I think I need to get MC. I need to have leave for my surgery. And then your boss will only tell you, okay, this is how you apply for MC, or you will already be granted 7 days. If you exceed 7 days, your salary will be deducted during the MC. All right, you must also attend online meeting because you are only on your bed, right? You're only on your bed, on your what? You can still open up your laptop and tell me. All right, rather than showing concern. How's your wrist? What happened to your wrist? Oh, are you worried of your wrist? I did notice that you always rub some medicine on your wrist, all right? But you didn't tell me anything before this, all right? If you have told us earlier, I would have recommended you to our panel clinic or something. Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of this, all right? The company will cover. No, I'm not gonna say the company will cover. But the way you are being attentive, you are showing mercy. You are showing that. You are being basically you are being a human being over there. Alright? Kesiannya tak apalah ni. Tapi on the other side, alright, but on the other side because you are not being attentive, you are just literally listening, alright, listening. when the person is asking you about the sick leave because of he had to go to operation, you only explain about the procedure. Nothing emotionally being explained over there. All right. So that is literal listening. Okay. All right. How do you adapt to listening to communication goals? All right. Of course, sometimes we listen for pleasure. All right. Sometimes we listen to music, or maybe we just tend to talk to our good friends because we want to have a very pleasant moment. All right. We listen just for pleasure, just for fun. All right. But then sometimes you listen for information. All right. So when you listen for information, again, please be mindful. Do not let your mind wander around. Control your obstacles. For example, control your noise or other psychological distraction. Yeah, if let's say you just came back from work or from classes, all right, and then your mom and dad were asking question or ask you to come and sit down and have a short conversation with them, you might just want to say to them, excuse me, mom or dad, I think I need to shower first. Let me freshen up and then I'll come back to you. All right, so control this kind of psychological and physiological distraction. All right, always ask question. All right, always ask question, not only to ask because you do not understand, but ask because you want to show that you are interested. All right, use aids to recall. All right, sometimes aids can be in form of mnemonic. All right, mnemonic, mnemonic. All right, mnemonic here can be the short forms of certain kind of terminology. For example, semesta, sekolah mendengar sains tukar Abdullah. For example, what else? All right, so these are some of perkesa, right? Like for example, perkesa, pertubuhan kebajikan sosial. So use this kind of mnemonic to help you remember or to help you to recall. Right? But sometimes you can also use electronic devices, for example, voice recorder, your phone, your laptops, camera. Right? But please make sure that the person are well informed and the person is also giving their consent. All right. Yeah. If you are talking to your friends, that there's no need to record, of course. All right. But if you are listening to your lecture, maybe this is a one-to-one conversation or one-to-one, what you call that, consultation, you might ask, excuse me, sir, can I record our conversation? Okay, sure, please. All right, so ask for their consent, all right, and please make sure they are happy, all right, with the aids that you are using. And of course, organize your information. Make sure which one is important, which one is not, all right, and do not like listen to everything and jot down everything. You can just jot down only important points, okay? All right, listen to support others. Of course, again, be mindful. Be careful of expressing judgment. All right, do not just always condemn. All right, if you are in disagreement, you do not agree, you want to express your own thoughts. All right, please make sure that you know the correct way to interrupt. All right, understand the other person's perspective. All right, so always paraphrase whatever that they are saying. All right, just to indicate that you are interested and also you understand. Right, if I'm telling you about listening to this channel, all right, sir. So you are saying that listening is actually a very process that need a lot of concentration. Yes, that is actually what I'm telling you. Right? Use minimal encourages. For example, okay, encourages when you are listening. Oh, really? Go on. Oh, okay, I'm with you. That what happened? Oh, I see. Or you can also use non-verbal minimal encourages, such as you can raise your eyebrow, you can head nod, or you can widen your eyes to show that you are interested. And again, ask questions. All right. Express support, even if we do not support the content or idea expressed. All right. I think your idea is very good, but in other way, all right, we can improve the idea by. I think your idea is very good, but I think it will not be applicable in our situation right now. So what about? All right. So always express support first, and then counter that information or counter that idea with the ideas that you want to express. Okay. All right. Social media and listening. Social media nowadays does require listening. Nowadays you can have your voice being recorded. You can send voice note. You can have live Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and things like that. All right. And social media can distract us from effective listening. But unfortunately, all right, when we are using social media, Facebook Live, TikTok, or Instagram Live, sometimes we have distraction from our background. Sometimes we tend to play high volume music. We think that it will make the session or it will make the session much more interesting, but it is actually distracting our listeners, right? Critical thinking is also important when using social media. So when you are using your social media, all right, you also need to be attentive. Whatever it is being used, right, during your physical listening must also be applicable in social media. All right. If you are listening to something which is very important, of course, if you are just watching people dancing or gelek-gelek in front of TikTok, that will not be important. All right, nothing critical is involved in there. Okay. All right, and last but not least, the guideline for effective listening. All right, I would like to express more. All right, more again and again on being mindful. All right, always have your mind and your heart open when you listen. Adapt to listening appropriately, because sometimes when you listen, take this picture for example. All right, kids might say things in mumbling or words that they don't really pronounce very correctly. All right, so adapt to the style of listening. All right, ask again what actually do they want, and always try to correct them. All right, and of course listen actively. Okay. All right, any question? I think it's a
Yes,
very,
sir.
yes, sir. Yes,
I have a
please.
question.
Okay.
Can we go to the slide where you mentioned about the obstacles in listening just now?
Obstacles, obstacality. Okay, okay. External
Uh,
or internal?
Internal.
Internal. Okay.
Yeah, the reacting to emotionally loaded language. Just now you mentioned also about the political speech. I do not
Okay.
understand how does that related to internal obstacles.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah,
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, please.
yeah. Basically, I don't understand how it's related. Yeah,
How it is related to you emotionally?
I mean, how does that makes us obstacles in listening?
All right. Okay, when you listen to emotionally loaded language, all right, you will tend to block yourself from listening to others. So in the case of having political talk or political personnel coming and delivering their what you call that manifesto and things like that, all right, because this is a voting process. Oh, I'm being very political now. Right? This is only in our class, huh? This is a voting process. You still have the right to choose whichever or whoever it is you think suits you best or can is suitable to represent your parliament or your don be a representative of your community, right? But unfortunately, if let's say uh, unethical kind of manifesto or unethical kind of talk from political figures, they tend to use racial slur, religion, or say that this is our country, we need to take it back or something like that. Okay, for example, we have the the Clark Clark clan in the US, whereby they think that the African American should be uh, should be stripped of their nationality or should send them back because they are taking not just African American, all immigrants are taking their jobs nowadays. So rather than putting this, rather than to listening to other perspective, or rather than thinking, all right, that the immigrants can also help to improve our country. I'm talking about US, not here. I'm talking about the US. Rather than thinking that the Africans, the Arabic, the Latins, who else, the Middle Easterners, the Asians who came to the US will also contribute to the growth or wealth of the country. All right, they will just listen to this particular language, saying that they are taking everything from us. You see what I mean? All right. So we are already blocking ourselves from other information that is coming, because of course, all right, when we are talking about voting process, when we are talking about manifestos, all right, a lot of candidates, they will be delivering all of their manifestos, their talk and things like that to convince us to vote for them. But if we are too caught up, all right, if we are too caught up with this particular loaded language, all right, we will tend to block. We are not being mindful enough to listen to the others as well. Sometimes we will already block them, all right, not saying that physically blocking them. We will not be attentive, or we will not we will not attend the talk or the manifestos delivering process that they are doing. Alright, that is how loaded language are actually affecting our emotion and affecting our choices of getting information, selecting the information, interpreting the information, and also storing the information in our box of memory. All right, does that
Okay.
answer you?
Yes, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Most welcome. So in other terms, kalau macam in other terms, in Malay terms, bila kita dah dengar benda-benda yang macam tu, That's it lah. We are too caught up with that. Betul ni. Betul ni. Apa ni? Data negara kita, something like that. Alright, but we do not know that these people are also contributing to our country. Alright, other manifestos might just say, okay, we should put out racial harmony, we should practice more, we should be tolerant, alright, we should live harmoniously with each other, things like that. Alright, but because this is less stronger, this is less lauded from the other who is saying that, okay, this is our country ni, tanah tumpah darahku and everything. Alright, so we tend to be, apa ni, harmoni ni, apa, tak mau lah nak ni lah, something like that. So you will block your perspective already, okay? Alright,
Okay,
any
sir,
more
thank
question? Good question actually, good question. Thank you very much. Alright, I think some of you might be leaving for 11 o'clock class, right? Okay, some of you might be leaving for 11 o'clock class, so I'm gonna flash you again the QR code for T1 first, okay? This is only for T1 because some of you will be leaving. T1, static coming, okay? Alright, does it appear on my screen? T1.
Yes.
Okay, T1, please scan before you leave. And those who have just joined us, this is only for T1, okay? This is only for T1. Oh, a lot of messages are coming in. Alright, I think done. Alright, so those who are having class at 11, you may leave the session. Thank you very much. Alright. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to show the QR code for T2. Alright, T2 at 11. Okay. T2, get ready. This is your attendance, the QR code attendance for T2. Alright, this is for T2. Alright, while I'm attending this WhatsApp text, okay? So yeah. Table 4. Oh. Okay, alright, you're scanning, right? Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to stop sharing for a while, okay? Because they need me to send some document. If there's no more question, all right, can we get all the presenters ready? Okay, Afifi, Along, and Azra, and also no Saiba, okay? But yeah, let me do this for a while. No. Have to jump here and there. Sorry. Wait, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Have all of you scanned T2? Or you need me to flash the QR code again? T2? Hello?
Done, sir.
Done. All
Done,
right. Thank
sir.
you. All right. Thank you. So
Thank you,
let's.
sir.
Oh, you're most welcome. All right. So I'm gonna have the first presenter, which is Long and also Afifi. Long, are you there, Afifi?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Let me just share my tab. Okay. Not here. Ayo. Is this one? Okay, this one. All right, sound check. Is it working? Can you hear anything, class?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Okay, again. All right, back to normal. Okay, volume maximum. Okay, good. Okay, playing in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Semua Yusuf and also to my fellow friends. Okay. So for today, I'm gonna present to you guys my sharing or my opinion about non-verbal communication. There are many types of non-verbal communication. However, for today, I'm gonna explain to you guys two of them, which are kinesics and also haptics. Okay. Firstly, one type of non-verbal communication is kinesics. Okay. Kinesics presents body position or body motion. Alright. For example, when we are in class or lecture, the way we sit shows how interested we are in learning and also focusing in the class. Other example is when we are in examination, the way we sit and our gesture to focus thinking and remembering answers indicates how spirit we towards it, toward answering the question in the examination. Okay. Next, the other types of nonverbal communication are haptics. Okay. Haptics present the use of touch of others toward us or our touch toward people around us. Okay. Normally, people who are in the same gender or people that we know will use this kind of nonverbal communication. For example, when I get married with someone, my male friends will come to me and touch like this and say congratulations to me on your wedding. Okay. Same goes to my partner when when her female friends will come hugging her and say congratulations for both of us. Okay. It will be same in other situations, like touching someone and say good job and then say something to others that is closer to us. And I think that is all from me. I will pass this to my friend Long. I think that's all from me. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jeng.
Hello everyone. By the way, thanks to my friend Muhammad Afifi who once stole fish together even though we never met. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all my friends and Sir Wan Yusof. I am Long Fahmi bin Fauzi. So for today, I will share my understanding of verbal and non-verbal communication. As we know, verbal communication is communication that has a beginning and an end. Non-verbal communication is the use of facial expressions and gestures such as a smile and a shrug to indicate that we do not know. For example, people know that I am the one of the supporters of a football team from England because I wear a Manchester United jersey. Honestly, I am not a fan of this club because it is embarrassing to be a Manchester United supporter. So never mind. Returning to our topic, first, these two communications have similarities and difference. The four basic things that are common between verbal and non-verbal communication are role-guided, symbolic, maybe intentional or unintentional, and reflects culture. An example related to the similarities of these two communications is role-guided. For example, we who are in a situation to get a job like interview, of course we are very positive and maintain a good behavior. We also sometimes ask questions in order to be well assessed. When in this situation, we also do not want to consider them as our friends by inviting them for empty chat. We must be professionals because the interview is a formal event. In addition, we also use facial expressions by always smiling at the interviewer and maintaining good posture. Thus, verbal and non-verbal communication have similarities. So for the next point is the difference between these two communications. Non-verbal communication is continuous, believable, and multi-channel. Non-verbal communication is more believable than verbal communication. For example, we cheat on a partner, like boyfriend or girlfriend. When she or he asks us, we had to lie because we didn't want to hurt his or her feelings, right? But unfortunately, our facial expressions are not able to hide the matter. Eventually, it was discovered and the relationship was severed in the middle of the road. So, because of that, everyone believes more in action than words. So, I guess that's all from me. So, forgive me if there is a lack or miscommunication. So, thank you so much, everyone, and have a nice day ahead. Bye.
All right, thank you, Long, and also Fifi. Good job. All right, let's move on. Oh, not this one. Let's move on to the next one, which is I know Azra and also know Saiba. Where were we? Tab. Oh, sorry. Get that. No, not this one. This one is already done. Okay, this one.
And my metric number is Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nusaiba binti Muhammad Azmi and my metric number is L20A0036. So today is me and my partner Aino Azra Yasmin turn to talk about the word beyond the word from chapter 5. So I'm gonna go with first type of non-verbal communication. Kinesis. Kinesis is a type of non-verbal communication that using a body. It is include a posture, a gesture, and also a body movement. It can be anything from rolling of the eyes to a thumbs up or even the nervous jitter of a student before a presentation. For example, we're nodding our head to indicate that we are following what the teacher has said. The second is haptics. Haptic is power of touch. It is also one of the most powerful of human communication. Haptics also include all forms of touch, such as shaking hand and hugging. For the example, when one of my friends having a bad day or crying, Other than I just encourage them with a support word. As a girl, I think most of the girls doing this. We will giving hug or at their back to show that we always with them or to comfort them, right? So haptic is extremely powerful non-verbal communication we can use. Last point from me is paralanguage. Paralanguage is useful and powerful in our communication. It helps me to understand each other when we communicate. Paralanguage can include inflection.
We're doing. In our very limited free time and with our very limited budget, we went and got a nanny, and then we went out and took a class on a very outmoded and very unnecessary form of communication just so we could talk about you in front of you.
Pitch.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Sarcasm.
We are going to choose team names. Dwight.
We will be called Gryffindor.
Really? Not Slytherin. Slytherin are the bad guys, Jim. I know. Okay, we will be Voldemort.
Hesitation.
Come here. The prodigal. My son returned.
And also volume.
What is wrong with you? Do you have any sense at all?
Okay.
Do you have any idea how to run an office?
Yes.
Every day you do something stupider than you did the day before.
Last but not least, paralanguage is important because there is not everything we can express through the text. So that's all from me. We will listen from Ainur Azra Yasmin.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ainur Azra Yasmin binti Muhammad Huzaini. My matrix number is L2080002. Now I will proceed with types of non-verbal communication. Physical appearance. Appearance is the most important parts of non-verbal communication. Physical appearance is like how you dress, styles, neatness, and how you impress others. It is the first thing that the people will see when encountering on another. I have read and found the information on the website that state the color of what you wear can have a big effect on a person's mood and attitude. People will make a judgment based on a dress and appearance that we wear. For example, when you meet an individual wearing a branded outfit and expensive jewelry, we will assume that she is a successful and wealthy person. Second is proxemic and personal space. This type of nonverbal communication refers to the amount of distance or physical distance that we need in communicate with others. It usually influenced by personality characteristics, situational factors, familiarity, and other. For examples, the distance that I need to communicate in public space is from 12 to 25 feet in a public speech event. I also need 4 to 12 feet in social space, such as when I go out and meet people and the professionals ones. For the personal space, I may need a distance from 1.5 to 4 feet. It is often used with me and my friends. The last one is intimate space that considered to be less than 1.5 feet that related to the closest relationship, just like me and my closest friends and communicate with each other. The last one is chronomics. This part shows us of how time affects the communication. It divided into 4 times, which is biological times, personal time, physical time, and cultural time. Chronomic is theory that examines how people use time, and it can help us to understand how individuals perceive and arrange time in their communication and the relationship with others.
About that, I was thinking that maybe we could move the date of the heist.
Please tell me this is not as a result of the girls' dance recital, is it?
No, the recital don't.
This sense shows that Dr. Nefario objects Gru's decision for their biggest project. He finds that Gru delaying the project for his own benefit. That's all for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I forgot that we should ask question for Long and also Afifi just now, but let's just start first with Saiba and also Ainur Azra. Any question for Saiba and Ainur Azra? And after that, we're going to go to Long and also Afifi. Question for Aino Azhar and Surah Saibah first.
Hello everyone. I have a question for Nusaibah.
Yes, please.
Nusaibah, in your opinion, why non-verbal communication is important? Thank you.
Okay, hi and Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Aizati, for the question. Before I answer the question, I want to bring all of us in another question. Like, can we imagine if we watching K-drama like Hometown Cha Cha Cha, but the situation is they're acting without any type of non-verbal communication. For me, it would be such a boring drama and we can feel or understand anything about what the actors are trying to show in that drama. For example, the scene when Hong Banjang, the hero, and Haijin, the heroine, they make their relationship official. There's a lot of non-verbal communication, especially when the heroine, Haijin, tell to Hong Banjang, the hero, what the difference after they are officially as a couple. We can see the heroine show haptics when she start hug Hong Banjang, and also a facial expression when she's smiling to show that she was happy. And without we notice, we also smiling at that time because of what? Because we understand, and it was like we can feel the feeling too, even it's not in real life. So for me, nonverbal communication is important because it gives us valuable information about a situation, including how a person might be feeling. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question.
I have question for Azra.
Okay, please, Hanan.
Azra, in your opinion, does appearances matter when applying a job? Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Hanan, for your question. Okay. In my opinion, yes, physical appearance is very important when applying a job. People will make their first impression based on your appearance first instead of your knowledge and capabilities before encountering on another. It's human nature to make a judgment about someone in the first meet. For example, when we go to the interview and dress properly, like wearing blazer, jeans with confidence, people might assume that we really want the position that we applied by showing the sincerity in impress and attract other people. So the best thing you can do to make a good first impression during an interview is to be well prepared, like dress professionally and others. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Aina Azra. All right, question for Long Fahimi and also Afifi.
I have question for
Hi.
Afifi.
Oh, tak tanya dah nanti tu.
All right, Hafiz. Abdul Hafiz first.
Fifi, in your opinion, what is the other type of haptics?
Okay, thank you so much, Hafiz. Okay, haptics, which is use of touch, also can be defined when we are at work or office. For example, when we did good work and being promoted, our colleagues will like come to us and touch us and shake hand and congratulate us for being promoted. I think that is all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fifi. All right, for Long.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question for Long. In between verbal and non-verbal communication, which one is preferred by the majority of people? Thank you.
Okay, thanks Adira for the question. For me, I think people use non-verbal communication more often. For example, some of my friends around me are not very interested to have a chat. They prefer to use non-verbal communication is
It's like just smiling without saying anything. I also feel confused sometimes. Furthermore, nonverbal communication is easier to believe through facial expressions than verbal communication that uses words. So we can detect whether someone is cheating on us or not by looking in their eye. That's why it's so hard to deceive someone up from. So in my opinion, I think people prefer to use non-verbal communication over verbal communication. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Long and Afifi. All right. All right, before we leave the session, I would like to the assignment is not yet uploaded on your eCampus, okay, but I would like to brief you a bit, all right, on the assignment. I'm going to upload that before your 1 to 3 p.m. lecture, all right, but we are not going to have any live lecture. We'll just log into eCampus and take a look at your assignment, okay? So I'm going to share my screen again. All right, this is very, all right, okay. All right, okay, so this is your assignment 1, okay, which is presentation, okay, presentation, all right. So it will be 30 marks consisting of 30%, okay. So the task require you to explain multiple communication strategy and behavior for professional setting, all right, never mind, just an instruction. So analyze the question provided by using the suitable communication techniques or guidelines that you have learned, all right. It can be in chapter, all right, but I already put the chapter over there, so you will just go straight away to the chapters, okay? All right. Record 2 video of yourself presenting the analysis of each question. Actually, it's a 1 video, all right? I'm going to change this to 1 video, record a video. But actually, it's 2 different topics, all right? So each topic, right, will be 15 marks, all right? So record a video of yourself presenting the analysis of each question. Send your video again as usual via YouTube link, all right, mostly on via YouTube link, and upload the video, upload the link, sorry, on eCampus, okay, on eCampus, all right. So the length of the video, right, should be 5 to 8 minutes. 5 minutes should be enough, all right, not more than 8 minutes, okay. So submission will be in 2 weeks time, meaning that today is already 29, 6, and on the 13th, okay, 2 weeks time. I'm going to give you 2 weeks time to record the video, so it will be on the 13th of December, right, in 2 weeks time, 2021, okay. Right, so the question here will be analyze the artifact and environment of your room or working space or workstation. Right, so if you are working, you might want to analyze your working station, right? But if you are studying, you might want to analyze your room or this place, the workstation, meaning that the place that you are attending to do to study, to go for online classes and things like that. So what do these non-verbal communicate about who you are and how their presence affect your feeling of comfort, identity, and security? So what will be different if all of your personal artifacts disappeared? All right. Question number 2, this will be in chapter 6, mindful listening. So reflect on the time when you wish that you would have really listened. How was not listening effectively during that time affected your life? And what did you learn from that experience? So why was it important to listen in that situation? For example, reflect on the time when you were in a huge fight with your girlfriend. You in effect with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and then you didn't listen to her, then something happened, and then so reflect on that particular time. Choose one particular time, one particular moment where you think that you should have listened, actually, and tell us about your experience in that particular video. So the video will be, you will only have to record 1 video, all right, but then you will have to explain these 2 topics, okay, very simple one, all right. And for the artifacts itself, all right, the artifact is just what like we have mentioned previously, all right. Some of you prefer sneakers, some of you prefer your what you call that, your piece of art, all right, your piece of art. Some of you prefer your bantal busuk and things like that. It's up to you. Okay, so record your presentation, put it in the, upload it on YouTube and submit the link. All right, submit the link on week, so this is already week 6, 7, and 8, week 8. All right. So the submission, all right, I'm going to put the submission in your eCampus, okay, on, where's your eCampus? Oh, no, this one. Oh, no, this one. All right. So the question and also submission, I'm going to put it, all right, in the next 2 weeks, all right, meaning that you are not going to be seeing the submission on this week, all right, week 7. Sorry, this is not week 7. This is week 7, sorry, not week 8. 6, 7. It will be on week 9, sorry, on week 9, which is on the 13th of December, all right, and it will appear on week 9, all right. So in our next 2 weeks kind of duration, you will have to submit it, and I'm going to put the submission in week 9, okay. So you have to only submit on week 9, okay. All right, any question about your assignment? All right, okay, this is how you will be marked, all right. So you will be marked in terms of content, non-verbal communication, and also verbal communication. Therefore, I would like to encourage you to stand when you speak. So at least you stand from your hip, all right, upwards, all right. At least I can see your hip upwards, all right. So this is gonna be a bit will cause you to do a lot of things, all right, but show some effort, all right, in recording. Maybe you want to ask someone to hold camera and record for you, or maybe you have a camera stand or something like that, selfie pot or something like that, up to you, all right. But wear properly, make yourself presentable, show a lot of verbal and also non-verbal gestures, and make sure your content does answer, all right, the question that I have posted on the assignment 1, okay. All right. All right, any question? Got question on textbook? All right, Rachel, please. Question, Rachel.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I would like to ask, can we record 2 separate videos and then we merge it together?
Yes, you can do that as well. No problem. But
Okay,
make
sir,
sure
thank
it's
you.
not gonna be like half an hour long or 15 minutes long. Make sure it can be like up to 8 minutes is okay. 8 to 10 minutes is acceptable. Okay?
Okay, sir, thank you.
All right, most
So,
welcome.
sir, which means that both the videos, like the 2 videos, supposed to be like 5 to 8 minutes.
Yes, it's actually one single video, right? But comprising of 2 different questions. But if you record it in separate videos, you can do that as well, and you combine them. All right, so make sure they will not exceed like more than 15 minutes. 15 is still acceptable. And sometimes you will see like, oh, 10 minutes, so long, but I say 10 minutes is very short. Okay, if you go exceed that, don't worry, I'm not going to penalize you, but do not go like half an hour or something like that, okay?
Okay, sir, thank you, sir.
All right, most welcome. All right, any more questions?
Sir, is there any
yes.
marks for creativity?
Creativity, all right, creativity, in the rubrics, there's no marks for creativity, but I'm not gonna like restrict you from your creativity. It's up to you whether you wanna put, like the one that you have did a few memes or animation or music like that, as long as they are not too much that they are shadowing your presentation, okay? Right? I'm not gonna say that you're doing things not for granted, but at least if maybe some of you enjoy doing that and you think it is much more interesting to be watched, I'm gonna accept that, don't worry, all right? But make sure they are not shadowing your presentation, right? But I'm just gonna say that there are no marks for creativity, only for content, non-verbal and also verbal communication. 15 marks, okay? The top will be 5, all right? If you got 5 full marks for the question 1, 15. The next 5 full marks for question 2, 5 times 3, 15 as well. So altogether, 30%. Okay, any question? Yes, please.
So is it okay that if, like, let's say some of the parts I film it at like some places that I want to show in my presentation, then I might not be able to show my hip and above position, but in some scenes I'm like trying to show a place that's meaningful to me. So is it okay that for that part, small part,
All right,
I do
okay.
not.
All right, I do get your question. Okay, all right. Okay. At least have some part where you can show your hip and upwards. If you are trying to like have a few portion recorded here and there. All right. Do not like put it in front of the laptop and just telling us, okay, my artifact will be my stickers. I like the my artifact will be my t-shirt all the way because it will not be. I cannot see your non-verbal cues. You know, there's no gestures. There's no things like that. So if you can make it something like if you are showing your room or something, you are showing your stuff, right? You can always record yourself, and then while moving, you can always show us the things that you want to show.
Okay,
All right.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Sure. So it's a mixture of between some part of being formal, some part of being informal. Okay. All right. Any more question? I do not like all the way sit down watching your laptop while recording and just telling us blah 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 things like that. So marks for non-verbal might be deducted. Okay. Any more question?
Sir, should
Yes.
we put subtitle because sometimes our voice not very good in video?
Optional, up to you. All right, I don't mind. All right, but it's not. It's optional for you whether you want to put subtitle or not.
Alright, sir.
All right, okay. Any more? Anything to ask? Hello?
No question for now, sir.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. So I guess if there's no more question, I'm going to post it in your eCampus. All right. So you're going to find the question on week 9. Right. This is week 7. Sorry. So week 9, 7, 8, 9, whereby the submission will be made on week 9. Right. So in week 9, there will only be this particular slot of assignment. Okay. So do not panic if you cannot see the question in our current week. All right. This is week 7. Current week, the week 7 slot of eCampus, because the question will be uploaded on week 9, whereby you will submit in week 9 as well. Okay. Right. I think it's okay. You think you have enough time for 2 weeks to record videos? Or anyone like to rebut any suggestion?
Sir, we will get the
Yes.
rubric on this question today or on week 9?
Question will be getting, you will get this one today.
Rubric also lah.
Yes, because the question will
Okay.
appear. I will show that particular week 9, right, on your eCampus as well.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, most welcome. So does 2 weeks enough for you? For all of you? I think enough, right?
it's okay, sir.
All right, okay. Thank you. All right, so if there's no more question, I think that's all for today. All right, so don't forget later on log into your eCampus and you can view the question on your week 9 kind of slot on your eCampus. All right, basically, I just want you to be there for at least an hour for your attendance to be recorded. But while waiting for the 1 hour period to reach, just go through the question, try to plan whatever it is that you want to say, plan your presentation, plan the item that you want to choose, okay, and then plan maybe the angle, maybe something if you are about to show things to us. All right, so plan your presentation for this particular assignment. Okay, so there's no assignment that need to be submitted today. Don't worry, no question, no quizzes or something. Only this for you to view. Okay, all right. So I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. Some of you said that some of you might want to stay back for a few questions regarding to SIAP. All right. So for those who doesn't have any more question, all right, you may leave the session. Thank you very much. I'm gonna upload this later on week 9. Okay. Stop presenting. Stop sharing. Stop recording. Okay, thank you very much. You may leave the session. Assalamualaikum and have a very good day ahead. Bye-bye.